Hey guys.
Hi everyone. We thought we'd start our video with a quick India update. Lots of you have been asking. So, as lots of you all know, Jen and I, with some of our friends, run an organisation called Pursuit International that works with families and children in need, particularly through a project called RAMP in Calcutta in India that works with young people raised in residential care. India's been in a national lockdown since the
Very
22nd of March.
Yeah, very strict lockdown.
Yeah, it's been quite intense. So, unfortunately, some of the young people we love and support have been really impacted by the lockdown.
Yeah, so all the projects we support had to stop their activities. The young people we work with, they have part-time jobs to support themselves. Some of them have lost those jobs. Some of them are concerned they won't get paid. Also, shops are only open for a couple of hours in the day. Food prices have gone up. All in all, it creates a bit of a challenging situation for them. We are doing all that we can to support them through this difficult season. We are so grateful for your support and your prayers in our efforts to help these guys.
So, on to our thought for the day. Something that has been really on Jan and I's heart through all of this has been how something of our experiences right now echo something of what it's like to live in extreme poverty. There are some really stark parallels between what we're facing in this crisis to the daily struggles for the poorest of the poor. So, for example, let's look at some of the stuff that's hardest for us right now.
Well, the first thing I can think of is food. Going shopping to the supermarkets and seeing empty aisles of daily essentials. I fear, I worry. I know a lot of you worry about not being able to provide for your families. Unfortunately, that's the fear many families living in extreme poverty have to live with every day. I've been seeing a lot of funny videos on social media of parents trying to homeschool their children, but also we are worried that our kids are missing out on all this education time at school. Unfortunately, for so many families, education is just beyond their reach because of poverty. One of the things that I've struggled with is the limitation of choices and freedom to go out and do things that I want to do. Unfortunately, again, choices and freedom has been for the privileged few. And not for the poor. We also are concerned about our health of our friends, our families, whether the our lovely NHS will be able to cope with this huge demand. People living in poverty, accessing medical care when they need it, is not always possible either.
I think probably one of the hardest and most painful struggles for lots of us right now, certainly for me, is that separation from loved ones.
Yeah.
A recent statistic I read in a BBC article said that activists estimate that 500,000 children go missing in India each year. That's 500,000 children who are permanently separated from their loved ones, whether that's through trafficking or simply getting lost and separated due to poverty, but it's a number we can barely imagine.
There are lots of railway platforms in my home city where children who are displaced are living extremely vulnerable. In fact, we have had the privilege of working with some of them, and they're incredible stories of hope. If you want to find out more, go to our website www.pursuitinternational.org/stories.
It's just incredible to think that some of those people that we love and serve were once one of those statistics, one of those displaced children. So with everything that's happening right now, we feel that this is an opportunity to actually engage in a very small way with the reality of the everyday lives of those living in poverty. We certainly don't want to minimise or underestimate the struggle, difficulty and challenge that this time presents for so many of us in this country. Many of us are wrestling daily with fear, worry, maybe even pain or grief. So we want to encourage us to actually be really sensitive about how we're feeling, to acknowledge it, to name it, and then to use it. To use how we're feeling to also motivate alongside it a powerful sense of empathy and compassion for those for whom this is the reality of their whole lives, not just during the corona crisis.
And from that sense of empathy and compassion, we might feel prompted to act. So make a phone call to your friend that you haven't called up for ages. Go help the neighbor you know who needs some help. Or sign up and support the organization that you've wanted to for ages, but just haven't got around to do it.
Shameless plug. But once we've got both that sense of struggle and that sense of compassion sat alongside one another, they should also inspire a deeply held sense of gratitude. Gratitude for everything we do have, gratitude that we can look forward to a life beyond this crisis, and even being grateful for isolation itself.
Yeah, an Indian doctor said this quote, social distancing is a privilege. It means you live in a house large enough to practice it. Hand washing is a privilege. It means you have access to running water. Hand sanitizers are a privilege. It means you have got money to buy it. All of us who are practicing social distancing must realize how privileged we are.
1 Thessalonians 5 verse 16 to 18 says, "Rejoice always, pray continually, and be thankful in all circumstances." As we all struggle through this challenging, frightening, bizarre season together, let us all pray continually with better and deeper compassion and empathy for the poor. But also, let's be thankful like never before.
Stay safe, guys. Big love. Miss you all.
Feel hugged.